हाय गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू द चैनल। और आज हम किसी स्टॉक की बात नहीं करेंगे। आज हम बात करेंगे इम्पॉर्टेंट फैक्टर्स की, जो कि स्टॉक मार्केट में बहुत बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग इमोशंस होते हैं, राइट। और एक समझने की कोशिश करेंगे कि क्या होना चाहिए और क्या नहीं होना चाहिए। आई एम योर होस्ट डॉक्टर सीमा जैन, सेबी रजिस्टर्ड रिसर्च एनालिस्ट, एंड टुडे वी गोना टॉक अबाउट फाइनेंशियल मार्केट्स व्हेन फियर एंड ग्रीड टेक ओवर। तो फाइनेंशियल मार्केट में दो बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग इमोशंस है, एक फियर और एक ग्रीड, राइट। ऑफ कोर्स अगर आप फियर की बात करते हो तो देयर इज एंजाइटी, देयर इज डाउट, देयर इज फियर, all three of them put together, right? And when we talk about greed, we talk about overconfidence, we talk about over optimism, and we talk about greed, right? All three of them together, and these three, anxiety, fear and doubt, all together. So तीनों, हम इन दोनों सेंटिमेंट्स की बात करेंगे और ये कब प्रेवलेंट होते हैं और कब हमको उनके बारे में केयरफुल रहना चाहिए। और मैं आपको कुछ एग्जांपल्स भी दूंगी, तो पूरा वीडियो सुनिएगा। अगर आपको कुछ सीखना है, कुछ समझना है, कुछ कोशिश करनी है एक मार्केट को नई तरीके से देखने की, देन रिमेन कनेक्टेड। एंड वी डू अ लॉट ऑफ लाइव ट्रेडिंग, ऑलमोस्ट एवरी डे वी डू लाइव ट्रेडिंग इन द लाइव मार्केट। Join us, join my Telegram channel, and you will find the link from where we're going to be conducting. And soon you will be seeing our YouTube live streaming. So all the best, remain connected, and we're going to make money together. So you can get in touch with our team. You have the various ways to reach our team. You can join us on the Stock Pro official Telegram channel, website, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. You can WhatsApp your query regarding stock market, anything that you want to know. Just send message to our team. Our team will respond. And then of course you can follow me on the YouTube. So there is an old saying in the Wall Street that the market is driven by just two emotions, which is fear and the greed. As I told you, that fear and greed have, I told you, like fear includes doubt, anxiety, underconfidence, whereas greed involves over optimism, overconfidence, and of course, when the market is running, you want to just follow it up, right? So we're going to focus on fear and greed and describe what happens when these two emotions come to drive investment decisions. So the first point is that letting emotions govern investment behavior often leads to irrational decision making, and that can cost you dearly. I have done it many times. Like I can give you a recent example. I have given a buy on Raymond, right? I'm going to show you on my screen where did I give it Raymond for a buy. So see here, I have given a buy on Raymond on 2nd of March, right? At what price? 758. Let me just show it to you. Raymond's we gave a buy on Raymond's. I'm going to take it here. So we bought it on 2nd of March, right? Somewhere here. Price was somewhere here at this place, right? After that, it went up, right? And we couldn't hold it. When it started falling down, I personally exited, right? And look at what kind of blast it has given in last couple of days, right? Demolished all the boundaries. So this is an example of fear. Your analysis is correct, but बिकॉज द मार्केट वॉज फॉलिंग डाउन, क्योंकि मार्केट गिर रहा था तो मुझे लगा कि ये भी गिरेगा, पता नहीं कितना गिरेगा, और मैंने यहाँ कहीं एग्जिट कर लिया। ऑफ कोर्स प्रॉफिट में एग्जिट किया था, एंड आई हैव पोस्टेड माय स्क्रीनशॉट आल्सो ऑन द चैनल। बट अभी देखिए आप 2-3 दिनों में क्या जबरदस्त इसमें मूव आया, राइट? तो ये जो चीज है, एक ग्रीड, दिस इज अ फियर, राइट? दिस इज एक्चुअली अ फियर। और यहीं पे आपको ग्रीड भी दिखेगा। कुछ लोग जिन्होंने सोचा होगा कि आज ये और ऊपर जाएगा और उन्होंने बाय किया होगा 1275 पे, आज ये नीचे आ गया 1141 पे। ये एक एग्जांपल हो सकता है ग्रीड का। व्हेन एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग अप, यू जस्ट want to jump on the running wagon, and that is when it comes down. The second point is it's usually best to ignore the trend at the moment, whether bullish or bearish, and stick to a long-term plan based on sound fundamental. It's also critical to understand how risk sensitive you are and set your asset allocation accordingly when fear and greed grip the market, right? So, like what happens usually, we are fully invested. Like, let's say I have 1 CR, I'm going to be like, usually what happens if they have 10 lakh rupees or 5 lakh rupees or 1 lakh rupees, they're fully invested. All the money is at one point of time fully invested in the stock market. In case market falls, you can't even average good stocks at the lower price. So you have to do very, very thoughtful understanding how are you going to deploy the money. अगर आप देखते होंगे तो मैं बहुत बार बोलती हूँ कि अगर नीचे जाता है स्टॉक तो यहाँ पे एक्यूमुलेट करिए, राइट? और नीचे जाता है तो यहाँ पे एक्यूमुलेट करिए. बट नॉर्मली क्या होता है, अगर मैंने दिया है बाय अबव दिस प्राइस, people will buy, put all their money at that price, and which is not a good idea, right? So something that I want to explain you, it's usually best to ignore the trend at the moment when bullish or bearish. Stick to the long term plan. कितने लोग ये कर पाते हैं, राइट? कितने लोग कर पाते हैं? अगर मैं आपको निफ्टी का ही एग्जांपल दूं, राइट? अगर हम सोचें, निफ्टी में क्या होता है कि ज्यादातर लोग प्रेफर करते हैं निफ्टी 20 खरीदना. दैट इज हाउ यू कैन इन्वेस्ट इन निफ्टी. एवरी टाइम निफ्टी करेक्ट्स, पुट सम मनी इन निफ्टी 20, राइट? जो भी आप जितना भी लगाना चाहते हो, 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, और मे बी यू कैन मेक अ सिप. So I'm going to take you back to 2008, जहां से निफ्टी में फॉल आया था. After almost like some, I think 1.5 year, Nifty completely recovered, right? In this way, horizontal movement and then recovered. After that, within next month, it moved almost another 50%, another 1 year. Then it again dipped, again it overcome this drop, further went up, then this corona dip, again fully recovered at this point, and again there is some kind of, there is a triple top, rather there is a four top that is formed here, and even there is a double bottom that is formed here, right? So it's not that if market falls, there could be a fall, massive fall at given point, but doesn't mean market will go to the hell, right? Or market will become zero. ऐसा नहीं होगा. Market will bounce back and market will definitely be able to cross its previous barriers and fly to the next level, right? So be optimistic in the market and do your trading or the investing very, very cautiously. So in case market went up, remain invested, came down, invest some more quantity here, then it went up, came down, invest some more here, it went up, again it stagnates over here at the same point, then invest some more, and then the market will go up. So this is how market keeps on going up and down, but your emotions should be very, very stable. I remember a lot of my friends who have invested in stock market in 2020. Their portfolio became almost like 40%. So if they invested 2 crore rupees, it became just 80 lakh rupees. But they remained invested. And from 2 crore, it became 6 crore or 7 crore or 8 crore by the end of year 2021. So this is what it simply means. But you know what happens if I give a stop and if it goes down, I just get so many DMs that this stock has gone down, you have recommended even 1 point or 2 point below my buy price. I will get so many messages, so many messages. If you cannot digest a little bit loss, then stock market is not a place for you, right? Because I give you the stocks where I have done full analysis. I have gone through the fundamentals, I have gone through the technicals, I have gone through, but sometimes market falls, even the stocks fall because they cannot be left without falling if the market is falling down. So let's go to the next slide and talk about the next points. So the influence of greed. Most people want to get rich quickly, right? And bull market invites us to try. Like for example, the internet boom of the late 1990s is a perfect example. At that time, everybody was saying that it seemed all the advisor had to do was pitch an investment with .com at the end of it. And investors leaped at the opportunity. Accumulation of internet related stocks, many of them barely startups, reached a fever pitch. Investors got exceedingly greedy, fueling even more buying and bidding prices up to the excessive levels. Like many other assets bubble in history, it eventually burst, depressing stock prices from 2000 to 2002. Many companies were fully destroyed. So it's, the greed. People always will use your greed, right? If you hear something from your broker that this stock is going up, why don't you invest? They are just wanting you to fall to the greed because the stock is going up. Nobody will give you a bottomed out stock. Why? Because then the fear will be working at that time. As financial investor Gordon Gekko famously said in the movie Wall Street, greed is good. However, this get rich quick thinking makes it hard to maintain a discipline. I am telling you very honestly, I meet a person who started trading yesterday or maybe today. And if I ask him, what do you want to do? What do you want to learn? And the one example, a standard example, and a very, very constant answer that I hear, Bank Nifty options. Oh, can you believe Bank Nifty options? The last thing one wants to do, because first you will be an investor, then you will be, a scalper, then you will be momentum investor, then you will do intraday, then you will do intraday options, then you will go to the index options. But if I hear a person who's just opened an debit account, he will say, I have he's not heard anything else, but Bank Nifty gets you a lot of money by looking at the screenshot of the Twitter or the Telegram. They just want to trade into bank in options. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because Bank Nifty options are most liquid. They give you a lot of money, but you need to be sensible. You need to understand, right? It's something like, I've gone to class 1 and I'm saying I want to work in quantum physics. What is quantum physics? You don't even understand, right? But you have heard this term called quantum physics and you want to work in that. Go to class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, class 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then go to the graduation, post graduation, do your masters in physics, and then talk about quantum physics. Then it sounds good. But if you just opened the demat account yesterday and you just came to the market 2 days back, you want to trade in Bank Nifty options, then it doesn't sound good, right? You're bound to lose all your account. I've met so many people who have made their accounts time and again. They have made their accounts zero in Bank Nifty options because they had no idea. But the greed, the greed that I will become very quickly rich is so misleading. Greed is good. Definitely greed is good. It allows you to expand your abilities. But greed is not good at the expense. Emotional greed is not good, right? So, however, this get rich quick thinking makes it hard to maintain a disciplined long-term investment plan, especially amid what Federal Reserve Chair Alan Greenspan famously called irrational exuberance. It's time like these when it's crucial to maintain an even keel and stick to the fundamental investing, such as maintaining a long-term horizon, dollar cost averaging, and ignoring the herd, whether the herd is buying or selling. So forget about what people are doing. Be the like you need to buy on every dip if you want to build up your portfolio, right? Irrespective. People, when you buy, if you've done the analysis, your stock will bounce back. I've shown you an example of Raymond's, right? I was having this in my portfolio, but I exited because according to my technical setup, it wasn't telling me I should hold it further. But the moment it bounced, it recovered every single thing. So the lessons from the Oracle of Omaha of Greed. The exemplar of clear-eyed long-term investing is Warren Buffett, who largely ignored the dot-com bubble and had the last laugh on those who called him mistaken. Buffett stuck with his time-tested approach known as value investing. This involves buying companies the market appears to have underpriced, which necessarily means ignoring speculative price. So Warren Buffett has a very clear way of investing, which is value investing. He buys good companies when they're available at the discounted price. And mostly we all should do that. When a good company is in ICU, or it's because of some news or because of market falling down, it's falling down, get ready to invest in that particular company. So the next point that I want to talk about is, here I talk about greed, now I'm going to talk about fear. The influence of fear. Just as the market can become overwhelmed with greed, it can also succumb to fear. When stocks suffer large losses for a sustained period, investors can collectively become fearful of further losses, or so they start to sell. This, of course, has the self-fulfilling effect of ensuring that prices fall further. Economists have named that happen, they call it herd behavior. Just as the greed dominates the market during boom, fear prevail following its bust. To stem losses, investors quickly sell stocks and buy safer assets like money market securities, stable value funds like FDs, or they go to the bond market, etc. Here the risk is going to be low, but at the same time, even the profit is going to be low. So following the herd versus investing based on fundamentals. This mass exodus from stock shows a complete disregard of long-term investing based on fundamentals. No, before I go on to that, I want to show you some examples of greed, recent example of greed. One of them is fear, right? I'm going to show you the example of Davis Laboratory. Have a look at Davis Laboratory. The moment, it broke this low, it had a massive fall, right? And here, this is all fear. People exited in fear. Even for that matter, today was Ultratech. It is probably a news driven event, but it is simply actually an act of fear. People are exiting out of fear. So these are all, like you can clearly see how herd mentality work. If one sells, that person will tell 10 others to sell, and they will just follow that person, and the stock is going to fall, right? So this he further says, granted, losing a large portion of your equity portfolio is a tough pill to swallow, but you only compound the damage by missing out the inevitable recovery. I showed you in the Raymond's. It fell, but how massively it recovered within few days. How not only it recovered, it in fact crossed the previous high of 955 and reached to 1274. This is the kind of recovery that you will miss out if you exit like me, right? In the long term, low risk investments saddle investors an opportunity cost of forfeited earnings and compounded growth that eventually dwarf the losses incurred in the market downturn. So when you exit your stock when the market is going down, you actually miss out on the dividend, you miss out on a lot of other things that come with it, maybe the stock split, maybe the bonus, maybe the dividend, anything that comes, and the long term tax that you don't have to pay. Short term, taxes you will not be required to pay in case you will be holding it for a longer period of time. Just as scrapping your investment plan for the latest get rich quick fad can tear a large hole in your portfolio, so too can fleeing the market along with the rest of the herd, which usually exits the market at exactly the wrong time. When the herd is fleeing, you should be buying unless you are already fully invested. In that case, just hold on tight. So अगर आपने सारा पैसा अपना इन्वेस्ट कर रखा है, तो आपके पास कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं बचती, आपको केवल बैठना है अपने इन्वेस्टमेंट को लेके। कितने लोगों ने आपने मुझसे पूछा है कि न्यूरेका का क्या करें? कुछ नहीं, होल्ड योर स्टॉक, इट्स नॉट गोना बिकम जीरो, बट व्हेन द opportune moment will come, it will start bouncing back, right? जब आपके पास पैसा है तो आप लोअर वैल्यू पे उसको और उसमें ऐड कर सकते हैं। Then importance of comfort level. All this talk of fear and greed relates to the volatility inherent in the stock market. When investors find themselves outside their comfort zone due to losses or market instability, they become vulnerable to these emotions, often resulting in very costly mistakes. So, when अगर fear या greed होता है market में, तो लोग क्या होता है, those who are not very strong, like what do you think about Warren Buffett? Warren Buffett has gone through many cycles of ups and downs, right? Many times his portfolio must have come to his buy value and then it must have bounced back. But how many of us has the ability to hold, right? So we are very weak as an investor. Weak people cannot be best investors. Avoid getting swept away in the dominant market sentiments of the day, which can be driven by irrational fear or greed, and stick to the fundamentals. If the fundamental of the company are good, just don't exit. Choose a suitable asset allocation. If you are extremely risk averse, you are likely to be more susceptible to fear. Therefore, your exposure to equity should be smaller than that of people with a high tolerance of risk. So in case you are really fearful of your portfolio, then do not invest all your savings into the equity market. Buffett once said that unless you can watch your stock holding decline by 50% without becoming pain-stricken, you should not be in the stock market. अगर आपका 1 करोड़ का पोर्टफोलियो 50 lakhs हो जाता है और तभी आप शांति से उसको देख सकते हो, होल्ड कर सकते हो, अगर आपके अंदर ये क्षमता है तभी आप स्टॉक मार्केट में आए, नहीं तो मत आए. There's a fine line between controlling your emotions and being just plain stubborn. Remember also to re-evaluate your strategy from time to time. Be flexible to a point and remain rational when making decisions to change your plan of action. So, एक ऐसी जगह पे आप बैठे हो जहां पे मिनट बाय मिनट और सेकंड बाय सेकंड पूरी डायनामिक्स चेंज हो रही है, पूरे मार्केट की डायनामिक्स चेंज हो रही है, तो आपको भी अपने डिसीजन को कभी चेंज करना पड़ेगा. हो सकता है आपने जो डिसीजन लिया है, सपोज किसी ने आज से कुछ साल पहले रिलायंस इंफ्रा में या रिलायंस पावर में या फिर DHFL में इन्वेस्ट किया होता या PC ज्वेलर में इन्वेस्ट किया होता और सपोज उनका या यस बैंक में इन्वेस्ट किया होता और कोई आपको ऐसा लगता कि फंडामेंटल्स वीक हो रहे हैं because the market dynamics are changing, the company's fundamentals are changing, please take a decision and exit your portfolio, right? You have to be dynamic in the dynamic market, but not so dynamic that you can't even bear some ups and downs if the company fundamentals do not change, right? Most important thing is that the company's fundamentals have to be strong. So why frequently, now I'm going to answer some questions, frequently asked questions. The first question that I'm going to take, why are fear and greed so important to market psychology? Many investors are emotional and reactionary, and fear and greed are heavy hitters in that area. According to some researchers, greed and fear have the power to affect your brain in a way that coerces us to put aside common sense and self-control and thus provoke change. When it comes to human and money, fear and greed can be powerful motives. तो दोनों ही चीजें, क्या होता है जब fear और greed होती है, जब आपके अंदर लालच होता है या आपके अंदर डर होता है, तो बुद्धि आपकी खराब हो जाती है, बुद्धि भ्रष्ट हो जाती है, राइट? एक दोहा भी है, आई थिंक तुलसीदास जी का है कि कबीर जी का है, कि प्लीज अगर आपको किसी को याद हो तो लिखिएगा कमेंट बॉक्स में कि अगर कभी गलत समय आ रहा होता है तो भगवान पहले आपकी बुद्धि हर लेता है. इसी तरह अगर आप ग्रीड और फियर आता है, यू कैन नॉट कंट्रोल योर माइंड, यू एक्चुअली गेट you want to flow with those emotions, right? So you have to be very, very sensible. How do fear and greed affect market? When people are overtaken by the power of greed or fear that become rampant in the market, overreactions can take place that distorts prices. So greed means more people are buying, like 100,000 crore of people are buying the same. So that distorts the market sentiment. On the side of greed, asset bubbles can inflate well beyond fundamentals. On the fear side, sell-offs can become protracted and depress prices well below where they should be. So दोनों चीजें ही गलत है. मतलब एक में आप प्राइस को ऊपर ऊपर लेते जा रहे हैं और एक में आप प्राइस को नीचे लेते जाते हैं. बट अगर नीचे जा रहा है, कोई बहुत अच्छी कंपनी के प्राइस नीचे गिर रहे हैं, आपको याद रखना चाहिए कि अपनी इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू के नीचे अगर कंपनी का प्राइस जाता है, यू शुड बी रेडी टू बाय. आई कैन गिव यू वन एग्जांपल ऑफ TCS. जब मार्केट गिरा था 2020 में, तो ये स्टॉक कुछ 3000 के आसपास था. 2020 में ये कुछ 3000 नहीं 2200 के आसपास था, यहाँ पे था, और उसके बाद ये 1500 तक गिरा था, राइट? और ये जगह ऐसी थी कि यहाँ पे अपनी इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू पे आया था. बहुत सारे लोग यहाँ पे वेट कर रहे थे. जैसे ही प्राइस ने 1510 को हिट किया, अ लॉट ऑफ बाइंग टुक प्लेस, एंड उसके बाद से स्टॉक ने कभी वापस मुड़ के नहीं देखा है. प्राइस कभी नीचे नहीं आया. थोड़ा बहुत अप एंड डाउन तो चलता रहता है बिकॉज मार्केट में डिफरेंट साइकिल्स चलती है, बट दिस हैज जस्ट मूव्ड इन अ सिंगल स्ट्रेट लाइन. ओके, सो इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू पे आया था 1500 पे. ये एक चीप वैल्यूएशन हो गया था. अच्छा स्टॉक because of corona was in ICU, means its prices were highly discounted, and that is when some people jump to the buy it. How can traders take advantage of fear and greed in the market? Fear and greed creates overreactions, which mean that savvy traders can buy oversold assets and sell overbought ones. Adopting a contrarian strategy can be a good idea. Contrarian means you do the opposite to the herd. If the people are buying, you sell by looking at that the top has now come. Similarly, when people are selling, you get ready to buy. That's called contrarian strategy. Then when you buy when others are panicking and picking up assets when they are on sale and selling when euphoria leads to bubble. At the end of the day, however, it is human nature to be part of the crowd, and so it can be difficult to resist the urge to deviate from your plan. So बहुत मुश्किल होता है अगर मार्केट ऊपर जा रहा है, आप इस बात को एक्सेप्ट नहीं करना चाहते कि यहाँ से एक सेल की अपॉर्चुनिटी है, या मार्केट नीचे नीचे जा रहा है तो आप बाय नहीं करना चाहते हो बिकॉज योर माइंड डजंट एक्सेप्ट इट. How can one measure the level of fear and greed in the market? So there are several market sentiment indicators one can look at, but to specifically interrogate the emotions and of fear or greed, the India VIX, right? You can look at the India VIX. In case India VIX is very high, means both emotions, fear and greed, are excessively high in the market, right? Similarly, if it is low, means the market sentiments are stable. Just in the end, you are the final decision maker of your portfolio. आपको ही decide करना है. No one is going to take decision on your behalf, right? Even if I suggest, but वो आप कब buy करें, कैसे buy करें, market positive है, negative है, कितनी quantity लेनी है, कब कितना profit book करना है, वो आपकी responsibility, and thus responsible for any gains or losses in your investments. So there's no one else who's responsible for your profits and losses, because you bought it, you sold it, you were holding it, you were not exiting, you were selling it, you were buying it. So sticking to sound investment decisions while controlling your emotions, whether they can be greed-based or fear-based, and not blindly following market sentiments, is crucial to successful investing and maintaining your long-term strategy. So being very rational in the market, come with a solid understanding of the market, right? You must understand what not to do in the market. आपको बहुत लोगों को पता है कि क्या करना है, यहाँ एंट्री लेनी है, यहाँ एग्जिट करना है, बट क्या नहीं करना है मार्केट में वो भी आपको पता होना चाहिए. सो आपको क्या डिसीजन लेना है वो आप एक पहले बिफोर मार्केट आवर यू हैव टू decide about what action you want to take. Market will fool you many times, right? अगर स्टॉक को ऊपर जाना होगा पहले मार्केट नीचे जाएगा फिर वहां से ऊपर जाएगा. बट अगर आपका माइंड सेट क्लियर है, आप क्लियर माइंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग के साथ आते हैं, 100% you will be able to make money. Take decisions not based on your greed and fear, but on your data points, but based on your understanding, your technicals, your fundamentals. Then you will become a successful trader. See you in the live market. Join me on my Telegram channel. From there, we will take you to the live trading and we'll earn money together. All the best. Take care. See you in the next video.